is the 50th episode of the Vibe Union podcast. You are hanging out with Dilly Dave, who's been hosting this podcast for a little bit, and we've got a wonderful, I guess some would say special, but not special needs guest, Tumi the Bee, wordsmith, somebody who has been chiseling in the scene for quite some time. Tumi, thank you for joining us on the 50th episode of the Vibe Union podcast. I wanted to keep that as a bit of a secret surprise for you, the fact that this is the 50th. How do you feel about being on the 50th episode of this podcast?
I feel amazing. Because it's special to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
To be on the 50th episode is like... I appreciate that. Thank you for keeping that little surprise. I actually, as soon as you said that, I was like, holy fuck, I'm like, fucking hell.
Yeah, so for all you know, we've been planning this out since episode 1, that would be like, oh yeah, we'll have Timmy on the 50th.
Hey, shit.
But before we get into it, and it being the podcast, and why Tumi's joining us here today, it's time to get a bit grounded by acknowledging the sacred ground that we're on. So I'd like to acknowledge the custodians, the traditional custodians of this land that we're recording and producing the podcast on. So for us, it's a combination of the Boonwurrung and the Wurundjeri people, the Kulin Nation. I'd like to, acknowledge leaders past, present, and emerging in the community, and also acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded, history was deleted, and it's time to, I guess, try and bring back some of those stories or enable new stories that are worthy of the land in our time. How do you feel about that, Tumi?
Dope. When you said stories, I was hoping that you would tell a story.
I did say stories that are worthy, and I feel like my stories are for another time, another platform.
Definitely for another time in a different context.
Different context.
Completely different. Save it for the OnlyFans.
Hey, that's it. So it's cool to be here on this, it's a bit of a balmy Monday morning.
You're wearing track pants, bro.
Wearing track pants? You're wearing skinny jeans, bro. So, they're not full. Yeah, they're skinny.
They're pretty skinny. Can I tell you a secret?
As long as it's kind of PG, I guess.
Why do we have to keep it PG?
No, it doesn't have to be
We
PG.
can go all the way. It's on Monday at 11:44.
We can go most of the way.
Okay. These pants are sized for a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah,
Shit's
that's what I'm
right.
looking at.
That's my shit. I recently discovered that I'm adequately sized to purchase children's clothing in some cases, especially if the children happen to be fucking extra large mutants, because then they're regular sized people, which I am a regular sized 5'5" person.
So did you have to go to a shoe store and get measured and then kind of establish that you fall under the teen category?
Nah, you
No.
go into an op shop, you're walking around, you don't find what you're looking for, you look over there, you go, what are those pants doing there, and why are they there, and why is everything else there tiny? And you walk over, you realize you're in the kids section, but for some reason, one or two things fit you. And I say one or two things so as not to be too generous about the truth. And then you try them on, and you're like, these are fucking sick, and they cost less than regular clothes. $1, maybe.
That is a secret. That is quite that's something that you probably shouldn't be telling everyone, because that's going to leave a gap in the market for you.
True.
Considering a lot of the people who would be watching this are in the
Who are
local
roughly
area.
my size,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, that's his secret, it's time now. Gonna be walking into more op shops and going to the kids section to buy clothes and being like, oh fuck, there's nothing here. Who's been having these fucking kids?
Who has been having these fucking kids? Isn't that a question for our time? Who's been having these kids?
Not me.
Have you seen them? Well, yeah, me neither.
No.
I can't claim the responsibility for the youth out there. But I try to have some kind of sway with the music and stuff. Do you find that you write or create music for a particular audience, or do you kind of just make music for yourself?
You know what? I think I make music for myself primarily. I think it's good to think of yourself when you make what you make.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost. And then I try to deliver it for a specific vibe. Audience-wise, I don't think about the audience as much as I think about the vibe more these days. I'm like, like, I'll give you a good example. I performed at it was it's called a sound exchange last week. I did like a 15-minute set.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's a sound exchange, which is basically two bands on stage, and they go one for one. So it's two bands. One was Alaria, the other one was I can't remember. Can't remember the names of the bands, and I'm not going to butcher the names. But basically, it's two bands. They play. One was like a salsa slash cumbia, which is South American Colombian music, and the other one was like an Afrobeat type band.
Yeah.
And everyone that was at the gig, this was at Brunswick Ballroom, was there for that. They weren't there for fucking rap.
Mm.
So when I was asked to do a 15-minute set just to fill some time on a break, I was like, I can play all my regular stuff, but I've really got to think about the vibe, and I had to swap some stuff around. And that was a good experience because the crowd was entirely different, and they loved it. They enjoyed it because, they were in the moment. But I guess also because I brought it to them by going, this is the vibe. I'm not going to do like 3 trap bangers. Like, I'm going to do some stuff that's more down tempo. I'm going to sing a little bit, just so they can connect. Yeah.
So even though those trap bangers may have been like your vibe and maybe what you wanted to have done normally, reading the crowd and rearranging your stuff for the crowd is a practice that you do.
Trying to check the vibe, 2 nights before, being like, what's the vibe going to be in that setting? And having no idea what it might be, but listening to the band and going, okay, cool, there's no fucking way I'm going to learn Spanish. There's no way I'm going to try to rap on a salsa beat. But I reckon if I mellow it out a little bit to give them something a little bit, more mellow instead of... And also giving them... I did like a slight Wu-Tang cover, like I dropped a Wu-Tang hook in there, because I was like, there's going to be a hip-hop head in there.
That's it's quite smart to... I mean, that's one of the big ideas behind hip-hop and rap in the first place, is kind of remixing what is back into something that's new. And I think if you're not playing to a hip-hop crowd, being able to bring like a potentially well-known hook from something, back in the day is going to be a great way to try and win people over.
Okay.
What are some other things that you do to try and win the favour of the crowd, with the context being the crowd didn't come there to see you? And also just go right into the tip of the mic. Yeah.
What do you mean, like, what else do I do? You mean like...
Yeah, well, okay, so when it comes... So, when you booked for a gig or you're performing, one of the things you're trying to do, I guess, I'm assuming, maybe it's just me, you're trying to win the favour of the crowd, like you're trying to win them over, and maybe you're not just doing that by performing your tracks well. Maybe there's other things that can be done. Are there any of these things that you would care to share?
Not being too awkward is one.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Like, not stumbling on words, having swagger. Like, what? How would you combat awkwardness?
Playing at I guess just, what? Being there. Like, this sounds so fucking wanky in 2022, but I think the thing that's allowing me to enjoy performing and also connect with people more is actually just reminding myself to just be there. Firstly, that's firstly, just... I don't know if you have that as well, because you're a prolific... I consider you to be like a prolific connector, because you got banter, like, boom,
Right. Yeah, a prolific connector, and one of the things that equates to somebody being a connector is being there in the first place.
It's being there in the first
Actually
place.
Going to see people live, but then in that, you stand there right front and center, fucking, nod your head.
Nod my head.
You're paying your respects by, like, giving the night your attention, right? Instead of giving yourself the attention.
Not in my head about stuff, not thinking about my phone bill, not thinking about, like, just actually getting there. And I do this weird thing, sometimes when I play with a band, my homie Bizzo hates me for it. Probably 10 minutes before the set, I'm just going to disappear, because I need 5 minutes to check in with myself and just, like, zoom in, like, switch off life. So by the time the set is over, I'm like, okay, switch life back on, but it's like, I'm there now. I'm for that 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So being there firstly, What's another thing? Some good banter. I try not to take myself too seriously these days, unless I'm on some serious shit.
Right.
Um,
But maybe not being too self-deprecating, but having some kind of level of awareness of I'm not here to proclaim that I'm a god or anything.
yeah,
I'm
there's
just
that
as human
too.
as all y'all.
I'm just too me.
Yeah.
I'm not a rap god because I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw someone do. I used to think it's cheesy. People talk about their songs as well. I think connecting with people. If someone doesn't know your song, that's cool. But I reckon tell people what the song's about instead of just going off into like 3 minutes of you spilling your feelings. I like to connect with people by telling them the story behind. This is why I wrote this song, especially for stuff that means a lot to me. And I think also telling people that, hey, by the way, this one means a lot to me. I've seen someone that'll literally say, "This song is my baby. This is my baby," and I'm like, every time I used to say that and be like, "What are you doing, bro?" But now I'm like, no, you gotta let people know that, hey, by the way, this means a lot to me. I'm like, you have to be honest about that on some level. Like, I want to show you this, but also like, this one in particular is my jam. You know?
Do you think that gives people permission to kind of engage with it on a higher level?
Fuck yeah. It also gives people a moment to go, hang on, if I'm there, this is where I need to try to listen, because this is where, if I'm interested in what this person has to say, someone's watching me and is interested in what I have to say, or anyone that I'm performing with, they can now, from this one thing, be like, okay, this is what, whatever they're talking about, whatever I'm feeling there, this is what means a lot. And this is what's important to them. And sometimes that starts really good conversations. Like, my favorite part of like any performance is probably the part afterwards where someone comes and says to you, "You said this, this, this." I love it when I know that someone heard a lyric or two and wants to know what it means. You know, like, because I feel like when you perform for people, you're starting a conversation. I want to try to start a conversation. You know, like, I want to get my props and have someone give me my flowers and be like, that was dope. But I really want to, like, it's like, let's have a conversation. Like,
because you're there to say a particular thing or series of things. Like, you're not there, like, your songs aren't just, you know, party anthems or whatever. Like, there's some serious undertones and real tones in there.
Sneaky subliminal consciousness stuff that's, this is important, or this is like, you know.
Right. How often do you get people coming up, kind of probing you over
every single time I play.
Every single time,
in one way or another. I played yesterday at White Hot for like 15 minutes, and probably one of the best conversations I've had was this dude who's a drummer. And he came up to me afterwards. He's like, "Yo, I'm a drummer, and you were on beat every single second." And I was like, "Bro, I'm glad you say that, because through the whole set, for probably the first time in a long time, I did not miss a fucking beat. It was bop, 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 bop. And that's, for me, I'm like, cool, give myself a pat on the back.
So there's like this acknowledgement of technical skill.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, thank you for letting me know.
For letting me know that I'm not just, it's me. It's actually, you can hear it. And he's a drummer. And I respect that. He's a rhythm guy.
Hey.
And then the best part of the conversation, he says to me, you know what'd be really sick as well? Is if you did, what did he do? He said, if you did it in, I think, 4/6 timing, if you could rap in 4/6 timing, because you can get that tight on 1/4, and triplets. He said, oh no, he said quintuplets, because he heard me do a few triplets. He was like, do some quintuplets. I was like, what the fuck? And I pulled out my phone. I was like, record that for me and show me what that sounds like. And he did it. And it was a fun conversation, because context for him, he was like, I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I could hear what you were doing rhythmically, and I fucking dig it. And I'm like, this is sick. Like, he's probably gonna help me expand my fucking creative understanding. If I take that seriously and listen to that recording, I might just flip it a little bit on how I flow and have something fun to do for a day or two that's gonna frustrate me, but is also gonna teach me a new way to.
Yeah, because he's showing you something that maybe you haven't seen or thought of.
Fuck yeah.
So
completely confused me when he demonstrated as well. I was like, what the fuck? But I was like, I can figure this out probably.
Yeah, and if you can see that as like a potential outcome or thing that could work with your music, then yeah, it's certainly worthwhile exploring.
Fuck yeah, or even just having fun. I love crying after failing to do something. It makes me feel like I'm still human.
God, we're really shy. Well, not we, I guess it's kind of generalizing, but I think that a lot of people, including myself, shy away from the chance of making mistakes.
Making mistakes.
It's just so stupid, right? Like, you should probably go head first into all of those
Fuck
moments where you could be proved wrong or otherwise. And it's not about being proved wrong or, you know, being seen as, you know, a fuck up or whatever. But yeah, you can't let fear rule those moments, right? Because that will really spill onto everything else in life.
Spills everywhere, and then before you know it, you're trying to clean it up, and you're like, no, but I didn't. And it's like, fuck it. No,
Yeah.
I did it. I fucked it up, but
Because it's never as bad as you think it is.
No.
Right.
except for first dates where you say something really fucked up that offends someone. That's always as bad as you think it is, or worse.
The stakes are at a particular level with the first date. That is true. It's funny because the more you overthink that, the greater the chance of that happening, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, every time.
Fuck yeah.
So one of the many reasons why we would have you on the Vibe Union podcast is you're sitting on a mountain of gold at the moment that's about to be, you, to me, are the dragon that is finally going to release the treasures to the people.
Jesus, I'm a dragon.
I think so.
Son
I think
of a
you're a fire
dragon.
breather.
Oh shit.
So, tell us a bit about the album launch that's coming up. Who's on, what's happening, where, and some of the preparations and stuff that you've taken with this album and what's it involved.
Sweet.
I know there's a few questions there.
The dragon. Fuck me. I hope people don't call me the dragon, because that's a lot to live up to. That's like the Bruce Lee of rap. Ho ho!
I
Ho ho!
hope I hope they do call you the dragon.
You put
after
people
this.
in danger when you do shit like that.
That's
because
true.
then MC, I want to be the dragon. Here's that. It's like, no, I'm the dragon.
Yeah,
And
and you
he's-
gotta fucking fire off.
I got a DM the other day from someone saying to me, I heard you freestyle real good. I was like, no, bro, I'm alright. But I was like, I'm like, fuck.
What was it like? Hey, you freeze? Like they were
Like,
about
when's
to.
the next time you're gonna be out? I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck,
right.
this is gonna turn into a battle. I'm not a battle MC. I'm a sensitive guy. I got the album launch on the 1st at Color Club. Got some hot fire talent playing.
Who's playing?
We got the young and talented Iambra playing.
Yep.
Got
Who was on Mortal Cadence?
Who was on Mortal Cadence?
Yeah.
We got Wrath, a man I consider to be a fucking dragon himself.
True.
Fucking producer, rapper. You go to his shows and you listen to him, and you're like, holy shit. As a lyricist who can hear what he's saying, I'm like, holy shit.
He's a world builder, and he's not. But also, he's a world builder who has come into this new space of confidence, and you know, and is fucking with being a little bit braggadocious in it as
I like
well,
it. I
which
like
is
it a
fun.
lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot to see someone's evolution. I remember when I first met him, and he was like, I rap a little bit, and I was like, word, sweet. And now he's just like, yeah, fucking, I rap. Like, that's his energy now. He's like, yeah, I fucking rap, and he raps now.
He embraces it.
And he's a motherfucker with the drum kits, with the production. We also got Olivia.
Ooh.
Olivia.
Tell us about Olivia.
So that's a band. They're a soul band. The lead singer Olive and keyboardist. She plays keys. The bassist Sam and Joe Oyasu. Well, we used to call him Yasu. But Jesse, the drummer, is also on that. That's 3-piece. And then to top it all off, we got myself with Anthony Murray on the drums.
Huge.
Fucking Nadav Raymond. Fucking.
So you're bringing band vibes with your tracks?
Yep, Matt,
Yep.
Rob, Liam. So I'm bringing band vibes with my tracks as well. The album is just so. My producer Bizzo is a band guy, and he's just his production on that was. But it's such a band vibe. I was like, I can't do these as instrumentals. I really gotta. I've tried them as instrumentals, just backing tracks.
Yeah.
As a band with a band, these guys are just beasts, and the album just sounds amazing that way as well.
I've been lucky to be privy to you know, some of these album tracks.
Yes, I wake up in the middle of the night sweating like, is he just gonna fucking share it with everyone? Every time I do that, I'm like, here, listen to it, and then I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna fucking share it, you know. But I'm not Juice WRLD, so I don't need to worry about leaks. It's like, listen to it, it's music.
Right. I mean, best case scenario, it gets leaked and it has a momentous amount of attention.
Yeah.
But chances are it gets leaked to 3 people, and
Yeah.
that's
And they're
the
like,
extent
yeah,
of it.
it's good. Sweet.
When can I listen to it on Spotify?
When can I listen? Like, you've already got it. When is it out on Spotify? It's like, you've already fucking got it.
Alright, so how long has the album been in kind of production and work for you?
Man, for ages. Some of the songs on the album are verses or feature verses that I've had for like 4 years. The album was actually meant to come out in 2020.
Wow.
Think about that.
Okay, so was this just pretty much down to COVID and lockdown getting in the way of everything?
Yeah.
Are you thankful for the extra time, or has that been a bit more of a stress for you not being able to get it out when you initially wanted to?
That's a good question. I thought about this the other day. Now I have to think about it again. Looking back, releasing it 2 years ago would have been better for the album itself, as in to get something out. But looking at now and how I feel about it, I can't really go on. I can't go on how it would have been, because that's the only way to go. Would it have been better? I feel good about it now.
Yeah.
It coming out now, I feel good. The only thing that sucks is I've done a few features and then started another 2 projects. And after this one, I'm like, oh, I want to get those out. I don't want to wait another fucking 2 years. So, COVID be damned. I feel good about it. And I feel like the extra time is good because it's also given me time creatively to evolve.
Cool. So you've been working on it, you were ready to release in 2020.
Mm.
How long were you working on it, and who has been involved in the project?
We had Bizzo on production, who's
Yep.
also an MC from Royalty Noise.
Yep.
A band that I recently joined, because I used to feature with them, and I joined them. We got Bizzo on production. I produced one of the tracks.
Hell yeah.
Co-produced one of the tracks. Motherfucker.
Cool.
Jared Waters played bass on one of the tracks. Anthony Murray, who's actually in the band, drummed on it.
Mm-hmm.
We had sax on it, so we had it's not Lockie Thompson. It was Lockie. Saxophonist Lockie was on it. So many people when I think about it. Rajar 45 did one of the hooks. My good mate Drifter did a feature. There's not a lot of features that are like features, but there's a lot of people who've like sprinkled some goodness on it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's just so many here and there. Wallace C produced one of the tracks. I would say if I were the dragon, then the mage that summoned me is probably Bizzo. If you were to say
Bizzo's Merlin of sorts.
Bizzo's like producer guy. He was the guy that was in the studio with me. He was engineer, producer, pusher man. Mix it this way, master it this way. Let's promote it like this.
Mm. Was he very much there with? I guess like with the album, is there a big vision behind it, or is a lot of smaller pieces that are kind of gelled together? And I guess like as a follow-up question, was Bizzo part of like creating a vision, or making maybe taking it to the next level from the initial pieces it was, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sonically, he definitely helped stitch a lot of stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Sonically, he definitely helped me bridge the gaps. Because like a madman, I'll just sit down and write verses on verses. But to stitch them together, I've had to learn how to make it all coherent. It's not really a concept album.
Yeah.
So it's not like it tells a story.
Yeah.
When I was trying to think of a title, I actually thought it's Pieces of a Man. Because it's really pieces of stuff that I've put together and we've just stitched it together really nicely. It's like a fucking sonic quilt of emotion and lyricism.
I like that. So instead of Jacob in his Technicolor coat, you've got a sonically woven quilt.
Yeah. So that you can wear for just I don't know how much it's gonna be like on whatever, but it's not the price of a regular quilt.
Yeah. It's tenfold more.
Tenfold. It's far more valuable. It's priceless.
Yeah, I mean, to engineer and weave sonics into the fabric of reality is quite the task.
Fuck
Quite,
yeah.
quite the product.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. That's stitching. Yeah, so it's just it's a collection of... I felt like it was an EP. When I finished it, I was like, this is an EP, this isn't really an album, because conceptually it's not. I always have a feeling about albums. I rate it on stuff like Kendrick Lamar's albums, Common's albums, Kanye's albums, strong themes, a lot of running themes, whereas this one has lots of themes in it. But at the end of the day, I think that the standard that it was pushed to by the homie Bizzo really does make it an album. Sonically.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Why did you pick Color Club for the as a venue for the album launch? Had you performed there before? I've never been there before. I saw some pictures of it, and it's massive.
The upstairs room is actually not massive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So downstairs is...
Downstairs is the massive one. Upstairs is like, it's like a decent size, but downstairs, God, if I could have gotten downstairs.
Right. Okay. Because...
But the band room is upstairs. I'm stoked. It's
Yeah.
it's all orange interior. It's like wild. Why did I pick it?
Yeah.
I had a big wheel on the wall.
Oh,
and it was
truly?
just venue, and I just went
Wheel of venues.
and spun it, and whatever fucking came out was it, and Color was the one. I had never played there either.
Right.
I only played there recently, actually.
What's in terms of size? What is it similar to?
Size, what's it similar to? It's like, let me think about this.
Is it bigger than Workers Club?
It's slightly, it's like it's got two rooms that are split.
Yeah.
There's one room it's like an L shape.
Okay.
So near where the stage, so where the band room is with the stage is like, I'd say a third the size of the room at Workers Club, and then on the other side there's probably a room that's about 4/5, since we're going in ratios, 4/5 the size of like Workers Club. So it's about the size of Workers Club, I'd say.
Cool. When was the last time you had put a gig on for your own releases?
Never.
Yeah, so this is the first time
First primo.
that you've
Premiere.
had events all around you and your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it take so long? I mean, you've been kind of plugging away at this for what, 7 to 10 years?
Ages.
Yeah. What took so long for you to kind of like be like, this is my big release. Let's summon the army and make it happen.
I think it's scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, putting it all on yourself is scary as fuck. Because
Mhm.
going to a show and playing for 30 minutes where someone else has sorted out all the logistics, sorted out all the performances.
Mhm.
I've put on shows before.
Mhm.
I've done lineups before for shows. I've played on shows where I've done the whole lineup. I've contacted people. I've done that before. But where
Yeah.
it's like,
Around
it's
you.
around me. That's scary, bro. Like, real talk, that's fucking scary. Because
Yeah.
when you get there and you're playing, you know that whoever's there is there to see you and the people who you're playing with and sharing the stage with. But you know that it's probably primarily going to be about you. And
Mhm.
also people are going to be anticipating. So the pressure's real. Like, how well are you going to perform?
Are you going to bring it?
Are you going to bring it?
Yeah.
But the fear is not real because it's another day in the office. You know what I mean? I always say that it's just another day in the office. Go out, give it 2,000, enjoy, be there, boom, clock out, next one.
Cool. I like that. What tracks do you have live at the moment accessible for the wider general public? What would have been some of your most recent releases, and what do you have out there for people to listen to?
It's a few. We got a sultry little thing called BWM, which stands for Be With Me with Honey Blue. That was out 28th of Feb.
Yep. Smooth.
Stress Less, which
Yes.
was out like last year.
With the music video attached.
With the music video attached. That's a good indication of when the album was supposed to come out, because that was actually supposed to be first single Then there was going to be another single, which actually we just filmed for, which is the 3056.
Yep.
Which isn't out yet.
Yep.
But there's those two. Then there's stuff I've featured on. There's Holler by Royalty Noise.
Yes.
Featuring Moi. There's For the Love, again featuring Moi. I have a mixtape up on SoundCloud. Album-wise, the only single is Stress Less. The next single comes out on the 28th of this month, which is within a
Kill
week
Them
from
All?
now. Kill Them All.
Cool. So exciting.
Which is not a Metallica cover. I don't know anyone who's like a Metallica fan. It's like, yeah, fucking right. But
I think a Metallica fan would be lucky to stumble upon yours.
I think so too.
They probably appreciate. They might even change lanes after
They might
hearing
change
it.
lanes after they hear me rap.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So after this album launch and stuff, what are you going to be working towards? What's next on the horizon for you?
I got a little tape, a little EP thing that I'm working on with the homie Bryzone.
Okay. Yeah.
That is more conceptual, with 3 tracks deep, baby.
Ooh.
And that's way more conceptual. So I've actually done a track on a tape that a project that he's dropping, and that's how we started collabing. That's been in the works for a while, but I want to wrap that up real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing a nice little EP with the John Quill Quartet.
Huge.
What else?
Good Mood.
Good Mood. Yeah, Good Mood Melbourne. That's the man. You got 2 of those fucking mugs.
I don't know where the other one is.
Okay. You also don't know where your hoodie is.
It's a real problem.
I really hoped that I had somehow accidentally stolen your hoodie. I actually got excited the other day.
That was my hope too.
I saw. Yeah, I can tell you. I actually saw a hoodie peeking out, because I don't have any black hoodies.
Right.
I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, the Good Mood. Who else have we got? And then I got like a feature there too. Just did a track with a homie Seven Oak, who's prolific producer. He makes pop type stuff, but it's mashup type. It's pop / indie. And then I've dropped a verse on one of his joints. Felix Culpa, I'm trying to write with him right now. That should be fire. We've got a joint. We've got Best MCs.
Mm-hmm.
Need to finish that.
Yeah, actually, when Rai comes over, we should prompt the session, booking that final session to get down just your verse, I think, and
Just
then
my verse, and then
get
it out
you
there.
coming in on choruses and stuff.
Yeah,
On the hook, yeah.
yeah, do that. There's a few. There's actually a few. Sixpence. I got a joint with Sixpence that I've been sitting on for like 6 months.
Yeah, right.
6 months with Sixpence. I should finish that.
So he's giving you all his stuff and
One joint.
one joint.
I haven't been given the keys to the kingdom with Mr. Pence as yet.
I meant he's giving you. So you working on one track and he's giving you verse for it.
He's giving me a verse for
Yeah,
it.
cool. His turnover is real quick.
Yeah.
When it comes to he's got the project and he goes to do it. I've what's a good example on my first EP. The 4th track is Decadence, and I hit him up, in the morning, being like, this is the track, this is the idea and the direction. Here's like kind of what I've done so far, and by that evening, he had full stems and everything.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was like under 12-hour turnaround.
Jesus. That's triggering to think that 6 months of this, he's been sweating like he's probably given up, to be honest. Like, fuck this guy. He's not even gonna do it. I'm like, just wait. Just wait. Oh, I should actually mention also D-Rad MC got a little sexy little feature on one of his joints, Evil.
Yes, Evil, yeah.
Jumping on a little hook.
Yep.
And
Nice
then,
little music video out for that too.
Yeah, there's a video out for that. And then another one of his joints, Role Model. Got a sexy
Yes.
little feature on that. Probably, again, one of my favorite rappers in Melbourne for how lyrical he is. For how passionate and lyrical he is as well.
He lives by the word.
He actually lives by the sword. Like,
Yeah.
most of us do it, and we're like, yeah, but he's the fucking rap Spartan.
He's the rap Spartan. He's more authentic than pretty much anyone that I know.
He's got more I don't give a fuck than anyone. I've heard people
Yeah.
say I don't give a fuck. I've heard myself say I don't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. He does it. Like, if he's there, he's there.
Yeah. He's all in.
Real.
He's all eggs in the rap basket. He's not just hanging around for Easter. He's 365 till he dies.
365.
That was a shout out to Trix Williams. 365 till I die.
Oh yeah, also with him,
Yeah.
off his album from like 3 years ago, did a little joint with him as well, actually.
Yeah.
Trix Williams.
When it comes to, because you're sitting on a lot of stuff, and I think I alluded to this before. Like it took a while for for maybe you to get behind a launch or an event kind of based around you. What is your relationship with tracks and like releasing them and how does that go for you? Because I imagine as I said, you're sitting on all this gold, but it seems like you have some resistance to like getting it out at the right time or that kind of stuff.
I guess in that sense, I am a dragon in the sense that I'll sit on it and
Yeah.
listen to it over and over in my room, like
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah.
And then someone will go like, you should release this. I'm like, fuck off. This is mine. That's my
Right.
relationship.
So there's a little bit of a hoarding mentality in a sense.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the fucking critique. I had to do song submissions to playlists last week, and man, I think I did out of, let's just say that 50% of submissions came back as a yes. 50%, to be honest about it, 50% came back as a no, plus feedback, because I asked for feedback, and it's like, I love this shit, why are you telling me that? But also, thank you for telling me that, That's my main resistance is, I'm emotionally attached to a lot of stuff that I write. So hearing the feedback or I don't even want to hear someone say it's dope, and that sounds messed up to say, but I guess what I mean is just enjoy it, really, if you like it. I just like to be there with it.
It's interesting you say that because, at the start we're talking about how you find it very enjoyable for people to come up at the end of, a performance at a show and like reflect on stuff that's happening in the track.
The actual technical stuff that's happening on the track.
Okay, what? Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting how you're open to that experience, like after performance, but when it comes to releasing tracks and publishing them, you almost don't want to hear it.
It's like it's different.
Yeah.
Like, your favorite song isn't your favorite song because it's a good song. This is my theory. Your favorite song is your favorite song because you had it and you experienced it in a moment. Do you know what I mean? Like the songs that we get nostalgia about, like that I get nostalgic about, I'm actually probably nostalgic about because we played it for the first time, me and my mates. We sat down and we just geeked out over the lyricism, geeked out over the flow. I have songs that are some of my favorite songs because it was a Friday night. We were about to go out, and they were like, oh shit, the new Lil Wayne video just came out, and someone put it on, and we were all getting dressed or getting ready to go out, pre-gaming, and someone's put it up on the TV, and that excitement has built it up, hearing that song. And then we've gone to the club or gone wherever, and that song is dropped again.
Right.
That energy that, I feel like when you make a song or write a song, it's not, you're kind of putting something out there, and it facilitates people's vibe.
Right. So it's more about how and when the song aligns with the moment and the memories, as opposed to this song standalone stands for or means all of this. Yeah.
Whereas when you're performing, you're there with the person. So then it's gratifying and it's dope because you're like, I was here. I know I fucking curated the vibe, and I want to hear you say I curated the vibe. Whereas like someone could hear your song. I've heard songs when I've been. First time I heard this Kendrick Lamar album, I heard Untitled, Unmastered. I literally heard that album for the first time while having an argument in the car with my fucking girlfriend, my ex now.
Yeah.
Which is now why she's my ex, because we argued over Kendrick Lamar. But we were arguing over, I think it was Directions.
Okay.
In the car. And I remember the album ending and me going, that's a shit album. Because that was what my energy was at the time.
By association.
You know what I mean? By association. And then listening to it a few months later at a mate's place, because I just shelved it. And being like, this is fucking sick. And being like, I heard this months back. And I wasn't connecting with it. And that's not up to Captain Kendrick at the time.
Yeah.
That's up to me
to
engage. So really, my experience of saying it's shit isn't anything to do with what he's done. Unless he's such a fucking wizard, he can pull me out of whatever moment I'm in. But that's who's that good? Michael Jackson, Prince.
Yeah, there's only so many who can like rip you from any moment and have you just feel the essence of that track.
Like, what is that? What is that playing right now?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a different. Like when you make that kind of music, you're a different being.
Yeah,
You're a different.
you're a demigod.
You've sacrificed to the gods. You've given away.
Totally.
You've given away time. Other
Relationships,
experiences,
love.
relationships, love.
Yeah.
You've gone deep on the music. You're
Yeah.
almost insane by that point, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah.
Or insanely lucky.
Swimming in some crazy waters for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I appreciate that reflection. I think that's worthwhile. People considering that.
That's just my opinion on it.
One that like artists, it's maybe a bit. Artists may be a little bit neurotic about how they receive feedback, and also, it is a big deal sharing that stuff in the first place. And yeah, it is different, like publishing or releasing tracks, and then hearing or being privy to people's experience with that, as compared to being on a stage, as you said, curating the experience there.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is real, lived. We experienced it. We can
Yeah.
share and talk about it. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's cool. It's a cool perspective. Shredding perspective. Well, this has been another wonderful episode of the Vibe Union podcast. Tumi, please tell us when this launches, when the album launches.
1st April.
1st April, is that a Friday?
That is a Friday.
Yeah.
Doors at 8.
Yeah.
Goes on till late.
How about that?
Don't be late.
Cool.
The album itself is out early April. I'm probably going to drop it 6th April. I feel like
6th?
it's going to be 6th April. I say that as if I haven't already uploaded and put down the release date at 6th. I'll see, but it's like, fucking, it's 6th April.
Cool. Great. And people can find you on the socials at Tumi the Bee.
Tumi _the_B.
And that's BE, not BEE.
That's not
Which I have
B-double-E.
made that mistake.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess, really stupidly previously.
Well, I mean, it doesn't make sense. What does Tumi the Bee even mean? But, like, I'm like...
Like he's buzzing or whatever.
It's not, like, it's what my uncle used to call me.
Oh, really?
My uncle used to call me Tumi the Bee, but he used to call me Tumi the Bee because he meant literally a bee. A busy bee. But I fucking hate bees. So I as an homage to him,
Right.
that's my rap name, but I'm like, fuck the other E. And
Yeah.
it has a different meaning that I
It
came
becomes
up
Shakespearean then.
Yeah. Well, something. Yeah. I plagiarize? Yeah, fucking hell.
And on that,
To get
on that note, no, thanks for joining us today. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the 50th episode of the Vibe Union podcast. It's worthwhile checking out our website for all the events that are upcoming. This Saturday, this isn't going to come out by then. That's fine. Just jump on the website to look at events and everything. There's also a tip jar there if you're feeling generous and want to support cooler setups and production of the podcast. You're more than welcome to flick a coin. My name is Dilly Dave, and yeah, cheers for tuning in.
Thank you for having me also.
Thank you for coming on board. Peace.